Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Kraken Packs video. I am your host, MrBevers. That's right, we're back again with another War of the Spark pre-release pack. I bought a bunch of these when I went around to some local shops. They had a bunch on the shelf still. Thankfully, it was just after pre-release, and it was like the release weekend of War of the Spark that I went out and picked these up. So things were busy because, you know, people were playing draft and stuff, but there was lots of these left on the shelves of some of the shops I went to, which was nice, because my local game store sold out of them. So I was not able to get any really from them. I got a couple from them, but not many. And so anyway, I picked up a whole bunch of these, and I want to open them up because, you know, who doesn't like guaranteed foil planeswalkers? And then not only that, but like I'm really enjoying this format in limited, and I'm a limited person. I love playing limited, and so for me, it's you know, it's a little extra. I get to like check out another sealed pool and that kind of stuff, and also I get to get these codes, which are nice to give out to you know, people on my Twitch streams when I play some arena. So we got a nice little green die there, not too shabby. Now, the other thing I like to do is I like to try and prevent myself and everyone else from seeing what the promo card is. And so then there's our token that has our code on it for this these free drafts or whatever you want to call them. So then let's see here. Can we get this out without revealing what's on here? Boom. There. So I have no idea what the promo card is, or promo cards are, I should say. Not a clue. So let's get into the 6 packs, because that is what we're all here for. Let's do a little bit of a build, right? Shall we? Yeah, why not? We'll I'm gonna put this die off the camera here, because we don't need it on camera. And I'm gonna sort the cards out the way I would normally do so with a sealed pool, which is by color. Can you guys see all that? Is that all in camera? There. White, blue, red. Okay. Toll, very good. Wanderer Strike, very good. Griffin's okay. Jaya's Greeting is good. Uncommons, Jace's Triumph, which is not a terrible little card. Dovin's Veto, this card seems okay. Our first walker here is Samut, which is... Samut is very good. Just in general. And we got a Spark Double as our first rare, which is pretty cool. Because if we get any like major like bomb creatures or planeswalkers that we want to copy, we can do so, which is nice. So, Spark Double, pretty good rare, very versatile. I think our you know, nothing's looking super strong. White's looking pretty decent. Centaur Nurturer. Lazotep Reaver is very good. Sunblade Angel, nice. We got a nice Interplanar Beacon. These are very good in this format too, just because there's so many planeswalkers out there. And we got Yang? I don't know. I never know how to pronounce this name properly. I butcher it every time, I'm sure. Anyway, not a bad little planeswalker. Fits nicely with Samut. Lets you fix mana by able to basically put counters on your creatures and then have those creatures make mana of any color. And we got a Narset's Reversal. Okay, so another little blue rare. Okay, so blue looks like it might be something that we're diving into. Soldier token. Narset's Reversal is pretty cool too, right? Because you get to copy target instant or sorcery spell, then return it to its owner's hand. You may choose new targets for the copy, right? So like you can copy your own spell. Right, so if you have like a removal spell, you can return the removal spell to your hand and copy it and make new targets, which is pretty nice. We got a Vivian, nice. Obnixilus's Cruelty, good removal. Totally Lost, also fine. Law Rune Enforcer is decent. Prison Realm, very good. Oh, we got Mowu. We got the bestest boy. We got the bestest boy. And his human friend. And we got Angrath. Nice. Angrath is very good too. Gives your creatures menace. So we can now have menace and haste. And we got an Oath of Kaya, which is it's actually a really cool card. I really like it. The fact that it like does 3 damage when it enters the battlefield to any target. It's any target, right? Yeah. And you gain 3 life is very good. So let's see here. We're going to have an interesting decision to make here. Domri's Ambush. Tyrant's Scorn. Kazmina. Very good. And Awakening of Vitu-Ghazi. Alright. Our rares are kind of like... I guess, I mean, like, we could be playing, like, blue-green and then splash things, because green has a lot of fixing in it. So maybe that's what we end up doing. I don't know. We'll have to see. We have some very good white cards. We have some decent black cards as well. We need a Crunch Wrangler with all these big butts. We've got Spark Harvest, a very good removal spell. Mayhem Devil. This card is interesting. In the right limited deck, it can be very good. The interesting thing about it is that it's whenever a player sacrifices a permanent. So if your opponents sack anything for like Spark Harvest or whatever like that, this does damage too, right? So even when they sack things for that, it's kind of interesting. Price of Betrayal is a very good removal spell for this as well. Huatley. So not a bad little on-color walker for us. And then we got a Dreadhorde Butcher, which is definitely... we're definitely not in the right deck for that at the moment. I don't think our red-black is strong enough to warrant a Dreadhorde Butcher deck, but maybe we'll look. We have 2 Tamiyo's Epiphanies, which are decent cards. I don't know if you would run 2 of them. They're very good. Gateway Plaza, nice little fixing for us. Another Jace's Triumph. Eternal Taskmaster, very good. And then we got an Arland. So we have a lot of green walkers. All right, we have a lot of green walkers that we can play, which is pretty nice. And we get a Finale of Glory, which this card, if you can get it off in limited, is bomb. But at the same time, getting there is you know, if you can't get there, then you're going to be kind of poop out of luck, I guess. So first of all, let's take out the things that aren't really playable. Battlefield Promotion is actually, I've seen it do a lot more work than I gave it credit for originally. Yeah, our white is pretty strong. Our white's pretty strong. We have an Exile effect. We have a nice 3/4 flyer. We have 2 Martyrs of the Cause, so nice proliferate creatures. We have a Sunblade Angel, which is just a really good card for 6. We got our Law Rune Enforcer, which is nice to tap things down, keep them from swinging in or whatever. Then we have a Prison Realm, which is a nice exile effect. And then we have a Makeshift Battalion, which is decent. A Battlefield Promotion and a Loxodon Sergeant. So this is not too bad. We only had a few white cards there that are not really like things that I'd be interested in playing. And that's the Gideon Sacrifice and the Ironclad Krovod. Both are kind of mediocre. Jace's Triumph, like definitely you could play 1 of. I don't think you would play 2. We do have 2. I don't think we would play them. Tamiyo's Epiphany for sure will play. Same with Kazmina's Transmutation. Wall of Runes is kind of like mediocre. Sky Theater Strix is also mediocre. This card can get there if you need the extra body and the flyer, but it's not like super relevant. We have 2 of these. We'll definitely put them both in. That card is just so good. It basically turns off the gods. It makes anything that's big or things like that get out of the way. Totally Lost is good as well. Contentious Plan is very good. These Relentless Advances, we do have 2 of them. They're not like necessarily, we have 3 of them. They're not necessarily like a bad card. They're just slow, in my opinion. And the Amass 3 at sorcery speed for 4 mana, just to have your counter, like just to have your army bounced or destroyed, is like just, it's a feels bad moment. So I don't know. I've seen people running this card a lot. I don't think it's ever paid off. I don't think I've ever seen it pay off very well. I would rather run another Tamiyo's Epiphany over a Relentless Advance, to be honest. So like we would definitely probably play that over one of these. And that means that our blue is kind of weak, right? Like we have 2 of these Naga Eternals. another Jace's Triumph, and then 3 Relentless Advances with a Wall of Runes. Like, our blue is not super great, other than our rares, but even our rares are, like, not super amazing. Our blue has some decent removal in it, I guess, because we do have the 2 Kesmina's Transmutations. Eternal Taskmaster, very good. Soren's Thirst can be good. If you're heavy enough in black, it can be definitely worth it. Price of Betrayal and Spark Harvest, both very good. Herald, very good. Lazotep Behemoth is a fine big end creature, like a top end creature for black. Toll, I love Toll. Toll is like one of my favorite cards from black. And we have 2 of them, so we would play both. I would play both. And then you can play the Shriek Diver, and then like you could bring in these if you need them for like, you know, filler. So this card does a lot of work, mainly because it's a 4/1 with haste for 4 mana. But when it dies, you put 1/1 counter on target creature you control, right? So it can definitely help out. Raging Crunch is very good. Spellgorger Weird is good. Burning Prophet is fine. Jaya's Greeting is good. Invading Manticore is good. So then, like, with this type of deck, you probably want to play, like, a Samet Sprint. And, like, you might throw in one of these Goblin Assailants. I don't think you'd put in more than one. I don't particularly like them. They're just a bear, right? It's just a 2/2 for 2, and that's all it is. But if you need the body early on, it can you know, help out. Band Together is a decent removal spell. Crawl Stinger for sure. Thundering Ceratok for sure. Ward Scale Crocodile is decent if you need it for filler. Because it's only got 3 toughness, it makes it kind of hard to like swing with it or block with it. But because it has hexproof, if you can pump it up with tokens or whatever, it gets out of hand. A second Band Together, Primordial Worm, yes. Mowu for sure. Vivian, yes. Centaur, yes. Yes. So like our green is very strong. Even the Ward Scale Crocodile, because we have things like Yang and we have the Courage in Crisis, makes the Crocodile a little bit better as well. And then also like we have all these green cards, right? Like we have Arlen and Huatli and Yang and Samet, which are all green planeswalkers that we can play. So like that's not terrible for sure. And the interesting thing here, right, is that we could go green-white, proliferate, because our white has a fair amount of proliferate in it. Exile, proliferate. When this dies, it proliferates. When this dies, it proliferates. Right? This puts counter on itself. This puts a counter on a creature. Like, so we have some decent proliferate stuff in white for our green-white deck. And then, like, blue is kind of okay. Like, we have 1 proliferate, and we have these. So, I mean, like, maybe you play, like, a green-white, like a Bant deck, green-white-blue, and splash. Like, you splash the blue, and you just splash the cards you want out of it. The black is also fairly strong, because we have 2 tolls, and we have an Obnixilus's Cruelty, and a Spark Harvest, and a Price of Betrayal. So, like, you have a decent amount of removal in black. And the removal in black is better than the removal in green, because the removal in green that we have, which is these 2 Band Togethers, requires you to have creatures in play for these to matter, right? So if you don't have the creatures in play, these cards don't matter, right? Or if your creatures aren't big enough to do anything about their creatures, it also doesn't matter, right? So whereas the black removal is just like, it just happens, and if you have a way to prevent it from happening, then it prevents it from happening. But if they have a way from preventing this from happening, they have a way from preventing this from happening, probably. So but if we play green and white, we can play Awakening of Vitu-Ghazi as well as Finale of Glory, and all of our walkers except for Angrath and Kesmina. Now, we can definitely look at splashing Kesmina because she only takes 1 blue. The Angrath's a little bit harder if we're not playing black because it's double black or double red, and since we're definitely not, it doesn't look like we're playing red, it's harder to play the double red. But we do have 2 fixing, right? So, I mean, there is that. And we haven't even looked at our promo cards yet. So, like, let's take a look at our promo cards. I have no idea which side is which. So is this the... Okay, so we've got an Oath of Kaya, which is pretty sweet. So that means we have 2 Oath of Kayas. I don't think we're playing them, to be honest. They are decent. I mean, we could go into, like, a white-black green instead of white-blue green. If we wanted to, because the black would then give us a little bit more removal, and it would give us some interesting things like 2 Oath of Kayas, that kind of stuff. But then you lose like the Spark Double and the Narset's Reversal. But let's see what our other... Oh! How about a foil stamped Chandra? Okay, Chandra is like a bomb. Whoof. All right. So does that change what we're trying to do then? I don't know. That's tough. Chandra is very good. Chandra is very good because she gives you card advantage. So it's you exile the top card of your library and then you can play it this turn. So it just lets you draw 2 cards every turn essentially, right? But then not only that, but whenever loyalty's removed from Chandra, she deals that much damage to target opponent or planeswalker. So you can burn planeswalkers and you can burn your opponent in the face, right? So, and that's like if they attack her to remove the counters, that triggers it, or if you negative her, that's what does it, right? Like, or even like price of whatever. What is that? Price of betrayal. It removes the counters, so like it removes the counters, and therefore she does the damage still, right? Like, so that's interesting. Maybe we get just super greedy. I feel like we probably just get super greedy and go with like a green base because we do have the Centaur Nurturer, right? Which makes any color, right? And then we have Ying or Yang that makes our creatures with counters on them make any color, right? So as long as we can protect him, we can basically splash for whatever we want, right? So then we could put in like green, red, blue, white, black, and just play like our best stuff. So I mean, like maybe that's what you do. That makes the build way more difficult and definitely way more greedy and way more inconsistent. But maybe that's what you do. I don't know. That's tough because Chandra's very good. I don't know if she's good enough though. Like maybe she's not good enough to like worry about breaking up your consistency. Although Spark Double on Chandra would be pretty rude, wouldn't it? Spark Double on Chandra would be pretty rude. I mean, heck, Spark Double on any of our walkers is pretty rude, except for maybe like Huatley. Like Huatley's like okay, she's not amazing for us, right? She just has 7 loyalty, right? Like I mean, so she would make this be a 3/3 instead of a 5/3, right? This would be a 4/4. This would be a 3/3. This would be a 6/6. So like Huatley actually impacts our top end in green pretty terribly. And then like it's the same here, like oh it makes it a 4/4, makes this a 2/2, makes this a 2/2 instead of a 3/2. So I mean like it's not terrible. Maybe blue is the splash and maybe the splash is just for Spark Double. Could be. Yeah, it could be that like the blue is the splash and that you're only splashing Spark Double and then maybe these Kasmina's transmutations if you need them, right? Just as removal. So like it could be that you're playing like blue or no, it could be that you're playing like white, green, red, splash blue for Spark Double. Yeah, that could be it. Right? It's either that or it's like white, black, green, splash blue. I don't know. I think I like the white, black, green, splash blue just based on the power level. The red doesn't seem strong enough to support Chandra. That's the real issue, right? Like we have 2 Burning Prophets and a Spellgorger Weird, which are very good, except that we just don't have any like red spells, right? And in green we have a Courage in Crisis and 2 Band-Togethers, and that's it that help with those guys. And then in white we have the Wanderer's Strike and the Prison Realm and the Battlefield Promotion, and that's it, right? Like there's just we're missing a whole bunch of like red instants and sorceries to help with other stuff. So I mean like we do have some stuff in here. Like we have 2 blind blasts, but I don't think that's worth it. I don't think it's worth it. I'd probably end up going with like I would definitely be going with a green base because it gives us Arlen and Ying and Samet, which is 3 walkers that are pretty strong, and then Huatley if we need it. And then it also gives you Awakening of Vitu-Ghazi, which is a pretty good like I win card. I don't know, it's tough. Do you go like green, red, splash white? I don't think you do splashing white. I think you want white as one of your main colors too, because we just have some really good bodies in white. and some decent removal. Yeah. I think white, green, and then we splash either red or black. But I mean, if we splash blue, we got Kasmina as well, right? So maybe we just splash blue and red in our green-white deck. And like all you're doing is splashing like one red for Chandra, and that's it. Like you don't play anything else from the red pile. You're just playing Chandra, right? Because then you have these two for fixing, and you have Yang for fixing, and you have Centaur for fixing. So that gives you essentially 4 red sources, possibly more if you have creatures with 1/1 counters on them, right? And then in black, you just splash like some decent black stuff, like your removal. Like you could splash some tolls if you wanted, and some Obnixiluses, as well as like, you know, Spark Harvest if you wanted or whatever. Maybe you don't even splash black, you just splash blue. Yeah, you splash blue. Sorry, I'm getting lost here. We're playing white green. You're splashing blue and red. And you're splashing blue for Spark Double and Kasmina, and you're splashing red for Chandra, and that's it. So you've got like a white green base with a bit of splash for blue and red. And it just gives you some strong stuff. Yeah, because that lets you use all of your walkers except for Angrath. I mean, technically you could put Angrath in if you're splashing red. So I mean, like maybe you try to go that far, because I mean, if you have double red for Chandra, you have double red for Angrath. So maybe that's just how you do it, right? Because the Angrath also gives all your creatures menace, which is just pretty good in general. Like, for instance, putting menace on your 2 death touch creatures is pretty nice, because you get to kill 2 things with it, right? Yeah, alright. I think this is where I would go. I would go like a white-green build with a little bit of red and blue splash. And our black is strong, but I don't think it's strong enough to beat out the others. Like, it's very good. And maybe it's wrong to not play it, but again, at the same time, like we have what, 1, 2, 3. We only have 4 creatures in black, so that's like kind of low. But I guess then you're guaranteed the Angrath, and then you could bring in like the Lazotep Behemoth if you want, right? And the Dustmantle Operative. I don't think you play those Banehounds; they're pretty terrible. Anyway, there you go, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I've been your host, MrBevers. This has been a long haul talk. We got a sweet Chandra. And we hit a mythic. So we got a double rare stamp pack, which is pretty nice. And we got some pretty okay rares as well. I mean, like Spark Double's pretty nice. Oath of Kaya is pretty sweet. And we got a foil stamped Oath of Kaya as well. So anyway, there you go. Thanks so much, everyone, for watching. I've been your host, MrBevers. And as always, may your pulls ever be better.